Hello everybody, I'm the Beautiful Gamer, and today we are back for some more Fragments FEM. We started this game a while ago, actually. About a couple weeks ago, maybe? Not entirely sure when we started this. It's been a while though since we played it. But we're back. And that's all that matters. Yeah. Why are my dogs dripping and running before? Nonetheless, is a stream streaming. It often lies to me. Are you lying to me? Are you lying to me, Twitch? Are you lying to me? I have a suspicion it is. Hang on. Nope, nope, never mind. I love how, like, as soon as I'm about to hit stop, it's like, nope. Nonetheless, press any key to start. Some tells me they didn't take the time to optimize this to the platform it's on. Get a drink of root beer. The game's loading. Yeah. That is delicious. Can't go wrong with root beer. No, you can't go wrong. Alright. Continue. Da-dum-dum-dum. Da-da-dum. I don't know what else to say here. I'm just kind of waiting. Oh.
Naturally, as Will's grandmother, I knew Will since the first day he was born, of course. I will never forget that first moment in the hospital, when James, that's Will's father, handed me my grandson for the first time. He wriggled in his blue blanket, already a strong boy. James liked that punk thing in the 1980s, and looked a terrible mess to me. He ran 3 pubs in London for those sort of people. I would go over to babysit as often as I could. A child needs someone normal in their life.
I'm pretty sure this rock is relatively normal. I'm just saying.
The magazines that Sharon read were full of paintings. I'm not sure they were very suitable for a young boy to be around, but I don't like to judge. Will had to play by himself a lot. Sharon had complications at the birth, so he was never going to have brothers or sisters.
Come on, pups, clicking on me. Mercy.
James and Sharon both loved so-called music, and there was always something playing around Will. I thought it was an awful racket personally, but there's no accounting for tastes. I turned it off when I was babysitting.
Oh, I was enjoying that. You are a very lousy grandmother. Oh my gosh. Why you have no eyes for? You are creepy. Oh.
Will's mother is an American, Sharon. They met through James's pubs. She took Will away to America for 3 years when she and James split up. They got back together again, though.
That's good.
That plant was about all Will saw of the outside when he was young. He preferred to make up stories rather than play outdoors.
I was the same way. Kind of.
James loved such peculiar books, all those horror things. That one about the rats. Dreadful things, really. I don't know what he saw in them. I suppose I sound old-fashioned, but there are appropriate ways to raise a child. I only wanted Will to grow up happy and normal.
There's always so much more.
I remember an evening where Will was quieter than usual. At first I thought he was ill.
Oh my gosh, my stupid dogs are jumping everywhere around me. Can y'all quit, please? I'm in the middle of a game. Oh my gosh. Y'all are so aggravating.
He'd got into a fight at school. It started because a boy had been picking on a girl, calling her names because of her dark skin. Will was punched in the stomach when he tried to get the boy to stop. I asked him if he had cried, and he said yes. I told him that big boys don't cry. I remember him asking me then, what do big boys do when they're sad? I told him that when he grew up, he would be a good man, able to stand up for others. I suppose I didn't answer his question. Even though he was hurt, I told him he was right to try to stop the bully. Now I think about this, he didn't seem much happier. What should I have said?
That's okay to cry, maybe? I don't know. I feel like why do I feel like I'm lower to the floor now?
Will tripped over his toy van when he was going to bed.
You okay there?
I remember carrying him. He was trying so hard not to cry. He was so small in my arms. I've never forgotten that feeling.
No. Okay. I apologize, I kind of stay quiet throughout this playthrough. It's a lot of narration. I've always been kind of like that with story games.
It's funny the things that you remember. A mix of small things, making up a lifetime. I took him to bed to read him a story.
Spaceships. Moon. I don't know why I thought about that.
He liked ghost stories, but I thought he was too young for them. He would get very scared after the light was out. Sharon kept on buying him more, though. I had to check the room for ghosts before he would sleep.
No. Dinosaurs! Yes. There's a giraffe. What kind of books do we have here? The Secret Seven. Oxford Dictionary. Charlotte's Web. Exploring Mathematics Haunted House. Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World.
I always look carefully to reassure him. I remember promising him, while I looked, that I would always protect him. I would always be there for him. I'm sure he thought I just meant about ghosts, but I meant it for everything. I always remember that feeling. I wonder if I knew his life wouldn't be easy. I've been reading him Grimm's fairy tales. I didn't like all the updated nonsense they'd been putting into stories back then. It was a strange story that night, called The Ungrateful Son. I think it went something like this.
Ooh, story.
Once upon a time, a man and his wife were eating a roast chicken for dinner. When the man saw his father, a very old man, walking along the road towards them, the man didn't want to share his chicken, so he hid it out of sight. The man's father arrived, bid them good day, and continued on his way.
That's mean.
The man was happy with himself and told his wife to get the chicken and put it on the table again. But the chicken had transformed into a giant toad, which leapt onto the face of the man. The toad wouldn't leave his face and hissed at the wife when she came near, so she didn't dare approach to help. The man had to feed the toad every day from then on, or it would bite his face, and he never rested for the remainder of his life. That was a very strange story. Will was asleep before I finished it, which was probably a good thing.
Well, what now? Am I supposed to turn off all the lights? Yep.
I felt strange after reading it. I wondered about whether I really could keep him safe.
I guess I can turn that one off.
The world is so unpredictable. I would do my best like all good grandmothers. I could still see him sleeping there now, like it was only yesterday.
This game's sad. I don't like it.
I had raised James, so I thought I would be ready for anything from my grandson Will. But I wasn't daft enough to think that it would be easy. The world changes so fast.
Okay. What is going on here? Uh, uh.
I remember the family visiting me when Will was a teenager.
What now? Oh.
We've family over in New Zealand. I went to visit them after James had grown up. We still write letters to each other at Christmas, you know. It's important to stay in touch with your family, even when we're so spread out. Did you ever hear the song Here in My Heart? That was playing when Robert first kissed me. Al Martino had a beautiful voice. They don't sing like that anymore. Such a shame.
Okay, guess we're not ready for that one.
My husband Robert died when Will was young. He was a good writer, but I do wish he had tried a bit harder. Still, I loved him. I liked to go down to Brighton, to the seaside, and I would buy a new glass animal every time I went there, collecting them. Everyone should have a hobby, I think. Back then, Diana had just done that interview, and so we were all waiting for the divorce. There was no way we thought that they could stay together.
Where do I go? What do I click on? Oh, you.
Us old people still think about these things, but no one was saying much, so I started a conversation. I see that Diana is in the news again. It seems like she's never out of it these days. It's about time she stopped keeping everyone waiting.
Yeah, Diana, whatever she said.
I think it's sad. She was bullied into all of this from the beginning.
The rest of the conversation didn't go well. Will frustrated me so much. I told you before that Sharon is American. She didn't say anything, which was probably a blessing, really. James didn't help. He has always been so obtuse in his views. I wish I hadn't even tried. They didn't want to hear my views. I said that I was going to make some tea. No one offered to help. I didn't really want tea. I don't think they wanted it either. But I needed to do something. I suppose all this seems like a strange thing to remember. But it was a sad day for me. We didn't have all these choices. And we all turned out well enough. Back then, society worked by all getting along. You kept your head down. It's easier to stand up from the crowd now, but... well, I don't think it's right. It's not good to stick out like a sore thumb. You have to fit in. I was worried about him, getting all these views. It could get him into trouble. James and Sharon were both adults, but Will... I was scared for Will. I didn't want him to stand out and end up worse off. I stood there, waiting for the tea to brew. And I found myself crying, standing in the kitchen like a silly old what's-it. He was going to go off with views like that and get in trouble, and I couldn't do a thing. I knew something had been broken that day between Will and I. I took a deep breath and pulled myself together. It's not the done thing to let others see you get upset.
Well, I think that's going to be all for this episode. Oh, man, I'm hungry. Sorry, I got really extra quiet there because I was starting to think, man, I'm hungry. So I think like, my belly's starting to growl now. I need to get food. I'm like slight little headache right now because I need food. I haven't ate much today at all, and I feel like I'm just starving right now. So, once we get back in the game, we'll let them finish whatever plays they got to say, if anything, and then we'll save the game and, next episode. So,
Robert passed away soon after Will was born. I've lived alone since then. It felt tolerable being by myself until that new distance. It's a terrible thing to feel detached from your own family.
and we're going to end it there. So, thank you all for joining me. It's Fragments of him. It's an interesting game. It's unique, very different. It's kind of like a hit you in the gut kind of sad story. So I haven't cried yet, FYI. So yeah, I don't know if I will or not. I don't really cry much. I don't really cry often in the games. But you never know. This one could get me. Nonetheless, thank you all for watching. Much love. I'm the Brit of a Gamer. Until next time.